In this lesson, we'll use a tween animation to rotate our pet. Remember that a tween animation is an animation where you change a property of a sprite or multiple properties of a sprite over a period of time. Example, in this case, we're going to change the angle of the pet and we're going to make it go around itself twice over 1 second. You can either set a final destination for the angle, or you can just say add this amount of degrees or subtract this amount of degrees to the current value of the angle. Let's start by creating this tween animation. We're going to call it pet rotation. And this will be game.add.tween. That's how we create a tween animation. And we need to specify the sprite. The sprite will be the pet, this.pet. What's going to be the target of this rotation? It will be, what we'll do is change the angle of the pet. So I'm going to type in angle. And we're going to change it 320, which is one entire loop is 360 degrees. So we're making it go twice around itself during 1 second. That would be 1000 milliseconds. Let's just check this to see if it's working. So you will see that the pet now rotates, but the UI is still blocked even after the animation ended. We need to listen to the completion of the animation, and when the animation is completed, we need to release the UI. Also, we'll increase the fun of the pet. Remember that our pet has a custom parameters object that has health and fun. And when you make it the pet rotate, you want to increase the fun value. So we'll take care of that as well. So after we define the target of our tween animation, we can also add an event listener on complete.add so that when the animation completes, we will trigger some function, some method. In this case, it will be an anonymous function that I'm going to type in. An anonymous function is a function that's not declared as a method, that doesn't have a name, basically. Just enter function and put in the content. So what happens at the end? The first thing that happens is that the UI is released. So the UI blocked value is now false. That will allow us to select something else. Also, see how when I click the rotation is alpha, is transparent. I want it to be normal, not transparent again. So I'm going to type in sprite.alpha equals 1. Lastly, I want to increase the pet fun value by 10. So we're increasing it by 10. And we can actually show it on the console just so you see what the current value is. Let's reload. See how now when this we have an error here, cannot read property, custom parameters of undefined. Well, I'm using this inside of here, and I need to pass that context to this function or it won't work. So in here, I was missing another parameter, which is this. So that inside of here, this refers to the same context as it does outside of this method. Otherwise, it will not refer to the one that's outside, it will refer to its own internal context. So let's reload that. Give it another try. So now the fun is 110. See how now I can still select other things. I can select while it's rotating, I cannot select, but when it finishes, I can select. So it's working as expected. We've implemented now rotation. And to summarize, what we did was create a tween animation, and the property that we modified was the angle. We didn't set a final value for an angle. Instead, we told it to increase the current angle in 720 degrees, which is basically 2 round trips over 1 second. Then we listened for the completion event, and when that is completed, we release the UI, we make sure that the element is no longer selected visually, and we increase the fun. Also, make sure that you pass the context in this situation, or you won't be able to access this inside. Lastly, we actually trigger the tween animation, because one thing is to define the animation, but nothing will happen unless you actually make it start.